This is my take. Allegedly, an FBI agent flew the plane. Okay, just say allegedly. If an
Allegedly, an
FBI,
FBI agent flew the plane.
if an FBI agent, this is my belief, if an FBI agent would have flown the plane, when that plane landed, you would have had the whole Federal Bureau of Investigations from every state greeting that plane.
So you think they weren't expecting that plane? They didn't know they were coming. They just showed up there, and
Bro, he
America
probably
got
called
caught
when
with
he
their
was on his
pants
way
down.
there. Probably called when he was on his way. You know what I mean? No, man. What I'm saying that they were aware that he was something like that could have happened, yeah, but not like by each second because if not, it would have been different. You get me? And if he was, just say that happens, that he got on the plane. Once you hit airspace, that's it. Just say this: if you jump on an airplane, commercial airplane right now, and just say that you're going to Guatemala, okay, and you're basically pass over Mexico. Just say example, and the plane decides to land in Mexico. What are you gonna say? Oh no, no, no! I was just trying to go over. Like no, hold on. Like, I mean, he got on. This is my gonna be my theory. Two theories, okay? It doesn't matter. Either they kidnapped him and put him in. I mean, they found out where he was staying at with no people, whatever the case is. Kidnapped him and put him on a plane. Or the other theory was that they kidnapped his son,
Mm.
tortured him, told him come talk to us. When they came and talked to him, they basically said,
Get your
"Oh,
ass on the
we'll
plane.
take you. We'll make sure you get back." And when he said, "Okay," and after they talked or whatever the case is, and they put his ass back on the plane. You get me? And sent
Okay.
his ass to Texas. Danny Mendoza, bro. Listen to me. This is my observation because there's an airplane that goes in international airspace and decides to land from another country without a flight plan or
What's
something,
the question
I'm
you're
gonna
answering?
why he's wondering about the FBI and the DEA. Why the FBI, not the DEA? That's probably the jurisdiction of Homeland Security and FBI for whatever reason. So they're the ones that will lead the arrest.
Jay, do the pics look like Mayo when you met him? We kind of answered
No,
that,
no,
but he
no.
does
I
look like
mean,
Mayo. But it is Mayo.
what I'm saying, he's older, bro. He's older. You know.
He looked more. He looked more like he looked in that interview with Buddy when last time you saw him. I'm sure, right?
He looked way healthier with in the newspaper article he did back one. He did it back in 20 like what 16 or 2014 or something like that.
Right. Which is the guy in the thumbnail right here. This one. What were the leadership differences in Chapo and Mayo? Pros and cons.
Different personalities, guys. You know, just different people. Um, that's a fair question. It was different personalities, different people, depending. You know, but mine was a lot easier to deal with. That's for sure.
I think the government is vulnerable to make a deal with El Mayo. Democrats needed a win, so government negotiated with El Mayo. El Mayo has a black book somewhere with all his dirt.
There's no reason why he would do it. There's no incentive for him.
Crash out, Jay. You said before that the cartel are two different parts, the business and the unalivers. So where does El Mencho really stand? Is he a boss?
Crash out. You usual suspect, bro. You know the answer to that one. Is he a boss? He's like the boss officially right now. You know, yeah. I mean, he's different though. Like it's different because you know, it's like yes, there's two sides of the business, but you take someone like Maya or Mencho, like they have to be both people, right? But that doesn't mean they really go and do it. They just have to be the business person, and sometimes that business person has to, well, not. I don't think you have to, but you know, has to like make those decisions.
Got a question for you, Jay. Feel free not to answer if you don't wish to. What were your profit margins on each one?
Depending on it depend on the situation. I know people don't like to hear that you want like it's not one solid thing. It's just depending if I was getting them in Chicago or I was getting them in LA or. I was getting in Colombia. You get me? Independent. But me and my brother, like, I wouldn't do nothing unless I was making, probably like anywhere from, you know, at least 2,000 2,500, depending, at least that for each one. But I also can make $11,000 off of one, so it depended, or probably even more.
Shout out Albert Flores for the $2 super chat. He said, Osiel Cardenas about to be freed. Thoughts?
I think he's free already. Yeah, he did his 25 years. I mean, you imagine someone like that was free, and some of the stuff that he was a part of, and like stuff that he did was, unbelievable. Yeah.
Jay, you got something to address the comments Gene Borello made on Adam 22's No Jumper um, podcast about
Oh,
cartel members in the joint. For those that don't know, Gene Borello basically said the cartel guys in the joint was a bunch of hoes and they used to get their shit took and this, that, and the other, and they would get treated. He seems to say something more and more, outrageous every show I see him on. But now we asking Jay for his opinion. Salutes. Appreciate you,
well,
Albert.
I think, let me tell you something about what Gene has done. Gene has done a great job at marketing himself, however he is. So to me, what he said, does he believe that? He could believe that, but he says it because he knows that it's going to do what it's supposed to do, right? Market him. Um, the fact that he says that, just say if it was a fact. There's two ways of looking at it. There's the way where you think that people are soft because they don't do it to you, and when he says these drug cartel guys, if they're real guys, and I'm sure that he was around bosses, right? It's a joke. Some of the people he's saying he's around, it's nothing for them to, probably, go buy another phone if they get taken, or go do something, then get in trouble and be in a worse situation. You get me? There's a big difference between a real cartel dude and Gene. You get me? um, he's gonna have chances to go back in, fourth. But someone who's facing real charges and is a real boss, and if that happens to him, it's one of those hard situations where what are you gonna do? Send people get beat up, get killed because they, mistreat you while you're in there, and then what? Like, where does that leave? Uh, like it's just weird. Like, so if he feels like that, maybe is it like that a lot of these bosses go in there and they lose their power because they're in prison? Absolutely. I don't always just like listen to the word. Like, it sounds terrible. I will tell you, like, oh, he went there. Not because I'm like, oh, he's talking about me. I know he's not talking about me. And even he was like, I'm seeing someone who markets himself is gonna say stuff that.
He said, have you heard Javier's corrido, El Porqué de las Cosas?
Yeah,
That
I ain't gonna
corrido was
lie.
super hard.
I helped him with that corrido when
So
he wrote it.
so he wrote his own corrido. So that happens too. They write their own corridos and what? Give it to a band and then the band does it?
Well, he writes what he was writing what he wanted to express. And I remember us, I exactly like where we were standing, where he was writing, and we are going back and forth. And I remember one of the first times I ever heard that corrido, man, I remember like getting emotional. It hurt my heart for real because I know what feelings went into to those details of that song, and it's relatable to me. You get me? Like, as well, like when you're in there suffering and going through those things, and here he was like, uh, oh yeah, that's kind of a unique story. But it's a corrido you could probably play.
He said, can you ask them if they had their own stamp? Do you have your own stamp, bro? What was your
I
stamp?
mean,
You
not like,
put your abs on the brick,
nah.
your chest on the shit.
It's like when people put two effort. I remember they used to like, what step. I used to be like, oh, I go through those little things like, oh, you want to do something unique and cool. You know how many times we're like, man, just put whatever they don't have. Like, bro, that wasn't important. I remember one time we did pick something that was like, oh yeah, this is cool. Let me remember what it was, but we're like, and it was. I don't think it's gonna be something like you guys like, a Benz or Rolex. It was something like real, like different.
Now, why isn't Tijuana the strongest when they're beside the border?
I mean, I have my theory.
Right.
My theory was that because it was ran by people who decided not to be businessmen, but to extort and take. You know, they that hate fueled them, and basically they kind of ousted themselves from from the business, and they basically their means of getting money was either by like extorting, robbing, faking, charging, and I think drug trafficking was like one of the I'm not saying they didn't, they just didn't do it at the other levels. When you're at the border, it's basically you charge people for being there, for working there uh, which is is lucrative.
Anthony, they've asked this question before, but I'm going to answer it for them. I don't remember if it was Jay or P. He answered it, if they had or if they would have a corrido done about them. Now, I have heard songs done about them. There's a couple of videos out there that I've been meaning to cover, but we've been one thing after the next, and we kind of been focused on other things lately. But I will look at those. But I'll give the answer. I don't know if it was P or J that said it, but they said even if there was a corrido, they wouldn't allow them to play it. The hypocrisy in that is, well, you still playing every other person that testified, cooperated, told, and said whatever. They all got corridos, and they're playing those wherever they want to. So to me, it's a pick and choose hypocritical game. You know what I'm saying? But that was the answer that they gave. If they did have a corrido, they wouldn't let nobody play it.
But I think it goes back to who we are, though, Shai.
Mm.
The fact that we're, I guess maybe the fact that we're American, the fact that we did it first, you get me?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to tell you what it is a lot. Like, just in case I'm gonna put something on the spot, I seen that my brother gave this interview for normalized crimes, and he gives this story about, and I've heard so many stories about Mayo's son Serafin.
Serafin?
And yeah, and his son, Serafin, talking about us, But because I would hear other things too, like he would send me messages and stuff like that when we were in prison.
Talking about y'all?
But yeah, that like however he says, I'm not saying, but they had that mentality, like, oh well, it's the reason why they were who they were is because they didn't have to fight the wars, and my dad had a fight and we had a fight, and he like felt sort of like, damn, bro, like even on that side of it, it's like we have this thing where it's always been like that for us. Like the reason why there's no songs is because we're not the people that you're supposed to root for. You get me? We're not the people you're supposed to celebrate. We're the people you get hated at, and I'll take that. And for all those people who been on the receiving end of hate, that's amazing, to me, But that's why, because basically the culture, and Shai, you're gonna understand that you have the best lyrics in the world, but you gotta be on the dittiness stuff to get on, right? If you're a little bit too real, you're outcasted. That's what we always talk about, like the fake stuff being popular, and that's what people do. But honestly, for American culture, they won't ever talk about the past. They're gonna talk, oh, what you did. Oh, it doesn't matter, you did this. It doesn't matter, you did this. But for everyone else, it's like, you don't even know who you're singing about. People listen to the songs, and this person got a corrido. And bro, some of these people that the corridos we listen to that we might like are nobodies. Like I'm seeing more and more dudes pop up on YouTube about, oh, I was part of this cartel, and bro, like, okay, I'm not saying I'm the only one, but it's like, come on, bro, like,
Everybody got a song now. The janitor got a song. Everybody got a song now.
Yeah, but on the other end, yeah, there's corridos about it, but they're not the nice ones.
Right.
Right.
And the ones that I did hear, there was, I think, one or two that I heard, and they weren't. There was nothing nice about them. They were diss records, basically.
Yeah, they were diss records, real bad ones, threatening records.
There's stories behind those songs.
I mean, some of those corridos were made at the time, like right after, Vicente got arrested and stuff like that. So there were just messages being sent.
Does Jay think he could have been hiding in Brazil?
Bro, Brazil's the worst place to hide in. That's where Chupeta got extradited from. That's where Johnny A got extradited from. That's where everybody comes from. All those jugglers from.
Ask Jay if Colombia has a stronghold on the game or everything is strictly Mexican.
Well, I mean, they're the manufacturers, so they just don't control Mexico. That's it. And that happens to be like the biggest port of entry. Doesn't mean that they don't like do things other ways to through the Arabs or the Caribbean, through Puerto Rico. They ship stuff on their own, but two different things, But for sure, I mean, there's a lot of organizations that go to Europe and different parts of the world and stuff like that, but the Mexican cartels are just different because they produce different drugs as well. Like all the fentanyl, all the meth, and all that's a Mexican thing.